Okay, so I haven't done one of these since September, I believe. I forgot to do it for the Winter Sun concert, but let me just tell you, Varg, okay, Winter Sun, spectacular. Now let's go into a more in-depth review for the concert that I attended yesterday. So this is the very first, like, underground cult clique show that I've went to, and it was a lot of fun. It's not like a regular venue or anything like that. It's basically like a fucking warehouse. It's basically disguised as like a furniture store for some reason. I'll show you a pic right now. It looks like this. Yep, that's really where the concert was. I thought it'd be the gray building right next to it, but nope. It was right in that building right there where it says like Oscar's Furniture Store. And it clearly says the address right there where it's going to be. I thought it'd be the building right next to it, but again, nope. It's the furniture store. And let me tell you, it really adds to like the mysterious vibe of like the really obscure, unknown, underground bands. And yeah, I think it really adds to that sort of character, how it deceives the outsider, so to speak. And once you get inside, it's actually doesn't look like a furniture store at all. It looks like an actual venue. Once you get inside, there's like the little main entrance room. Then once you like make a left, you'll see like this big hallway, which will lead towards the actual stage room itself. Yeah, once you get inside the actual building, there's a lot of incense in the air. It smells like you're walking into a church of some sort, which is ironic because this is a black metal show, and it smells like you're going inside a church. So yeah, that's really ironic, actually. The stage room itself was really cool. It was a very dark room, and it was about the size of like I guess a medium-sized classroom, medium to large-sized classroom at school, like in a high school or something. And there was like a purple Christmas tree light strand at the top. I think there was like a mannequin doll like sitting on the speakers, and there are like couches and benches like all along the edges of the room. And at the very back you see the actual stage itself, which is like a platform that's like 2 or 3 above the ground. It's not too big or anything. In fact, the opening band, I guess the bassist, there wasn't enough room for him to be on stage, so I guess he had to be just on the regular floor doing his thing. After a while, the smell of tobacco and weed basically overcame the very strong scent of incense. It basically like drowned it out because a lot of people were bringing weed and tobacco and stuff. So yeah, I guess my beanie kind of smells like char or something. It's like a mix of weed and incense. But yeah, it smells good nonetheless. And the background music for like whenever the bands were just setting up and getting ready for the next one, it would range from like industrial metal to like Celtic Frost to death, like nearing Xanthochroid's performance. I know they played like a big chunk of stuff from like Death Sound of Perseverance, and I think they also played Empty Words in the background. I can remember seeing a lot of the people like just going like, oh yeah, Spirit Crusher. Just like, even though it's like background song, people are still getting pumped up for the background music, so that itself is really cool. I think the host or the owner of the place, he was actually a pretty cool dude. I remember there was a policy saying there's like no ins or outs or anything like that, and I guess he actually told me that, oh, you accidentally left your car lights on, and that was basically like a little exception to the rule. So even though I went out of the venue for a little bit just to turn off my car lights, he like reminded me, and yeah, he let me back in. I didn't have to pay an extra $10 or anything like that, so that was really cool of him. I mean, he didn't even have to do that, but he went out of his way to tell me, oh, you left your car lights on, so yeah, that was nice of him. The host was really cool. Now I want to talk about, like, basically the bands and their performances, and I guess maybe a few of, like, their off-stage antics and stuff like that, because a lot of the bands were actually in the audience itself. Not a lot of them were really backstage, like, oh, yes, we're too good for the crowd. No, I guess a lot of them were actually in the crowd, moshing along with, like, the regular people, or the non-band members, and yeah, that's really cool. So I want to talk about that now. The first band in the lineup was Sadism, and they were okay. They weren't like terrible or anything. They just weren't great. You know, just your traditional standard black metal. Nothing breaking from the norm. Nothing groundbreaking. Nothing like outstanding. It's just, you know, your run-of-the-mill black metal. What you see is what you get. This would probably like scare the shit out of like your average person who's never heard of black metal at all, but for someone like me that's heard black metal for quite a long time, it could be better. I've seen much better. And the second band, I believe, they never announced their name, but I believe it's Bestial Slaughter Black Thrash. I don't think they've announced their name, but I think I could tell because I could definitely sense a lot of like speed metal, thrash metal influence in their sound. It's black metal like with more of like a Slayer, Creator, Sodom kind of influence. And I guess the vocalist kind of sounds like how Dark Throne sounded like in their black metal days with albums like Panzerfaust and Transylvanian Hunger. There's definitely more of like an old-fashioned metal influence in there. And I'd say they're an improvement over the first band, but you know, not by much. I mean, yeah, they were louder, they were faster, and I guess they utilized more like thrash metal techniques like guitar tapping and all that. But yeah, again, I've seen better. I don't know. I thought it was okay. And the third band in the lineup is Vestarian. And these guys definitely had more of like a black metal look, like appearance-wise. If you look at the lead singer, he has like the spiky armband and all that. He definitely looks like a traditional black metal lead singer. And they're like more melodic, and they're definitely even louder than the previous two bands. I seem to notice that these bands really stepped up from each one, I think. I really like the really cool dragon flag that they had on the mic stand. That was really awesome. And I see that they also were able to borrow a bigger drum set from Xanthochroid, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. And the vocalist, he sounds really cool. I love his vocals. It sounds like if Gollum joined a metal band. That's basically what I get from his growls. And yeah, they were good. I really enjoyed their performance. And band number 4, or should I say man number 4, since this is a one-man project, this is Through These Gates. It's a sort of blackened death metal project of some sort. It was just him on stage. I mean, he played everything, but he wouldn't, I mean, he can't play bass and drums at the same time, so he just had a recording of it, like, right there on standby while he played guitar and did death metal vocals. And, I mean, his project was, I believe, the only project to deviate from all the other ones. The other ones were mostly black metal. I mean, he was the only one that incorporated like a death metal influence into his sound, since he was mostly using death metal vocals. And I was really impressed with his performance. It was great stuff. He sort of looked like Devin Townsend when I saw him playing on stage. He sort of has like that Devin Townsend physique to him, even though his musical style is absolutely nothing like Devin Townsend. I just thought he kind of looked like him a bit. And he also performed a cover of We Will Rise by Arch Enemy, which I personally am not a big fan of, but I mean, his cover was still really good nonetheless. And again, his performance was really good all around. I just had to get his new album right here, which is called In the Eyes of the Prophet. This just came out like earlier this month, so I plan on reviewing this and sharing my thoughts on that. It's so good. I had to, you know, I have to support these guys since want to see them do good. And it also came with a free sticker right there. But yeah, I believe his girlfriend or wife or something was selling that, and I had to go get it. And Again, I think I'm rambling here, so I'm just gonna move on to Xanthochroid now. Again, Through These Gates, really awesome. Definitely check those guys, or him, out. And now, band number 5. The band that I principally came to see is Xanthochroid. They're from Orange County. They're from Lake Forest. I'm from Newport Beach, even though I'm at Chapman University in Orange right now. But anyway, Orange County. I mean, this is very important because finally we have a really good band representing this county. I mean, before we'd have crop like Avenged Sevenfold and Sugar Ray. Now we get a really good band to represent us. Finally. I believe Xanthochroid was actually the most popular band there. I mean, they even have their own branded drums. Like the bass drums had like the cover of Blessed He Who Boils with the actual logo Xanthochroid on it, and I think they may have drawn up the biggest crowd. Yeah, and the band themselves, like some of the band members, when I first heard of them, I thought they looked very European, so to speak. The lead singer, I believe his name is Sam. He looks like a cross between Death's Chuck Schuldiner and like Genesis era Peter Gabriel when I first saw him, and I actually did meet him. When I went to buy my copy of Blessed He Who Boils, I actually purchased it from him. Oh wow, that was a really just awesome moment right there. I gave him 20 bucks and he gave me change back. It's moments like that that really tug at my heartstrings, that I literally pay the band for an album of theirs. It's not like I'm paying through the record label or anything like that. Nope, I'm actually literally giving my hard-earned money to an actual band, like one of the band members that really does deserve it. And when I actually chatted with him, he was a really cool dude. He was like really nice, really friendly and personable. Yeah, they just seemed like really nice and like easy to talk with, and they just seem like a bunch of fun-loving people. Like, I've actually seen them in the crowd, like cheering on the other bands and like moshing with them, and yeah, they just seem like a lot of really fun-loving people, like on and off the stage. Like the band members themselves, they just seem like really cool dudes. The band's performance itself was really superb. It was top-notch, even with all the technical difficulties going on with like, especially when they were performing like the title track of Blessed He Who Boils. Like, even with all that going on, they still strode on through and just gave it their best effort. I mean, they could have easily just like thrown their instruments to the ground and said, you know what, I'm done, I'm out of here. But nope, that's not them. They just pushed on through, and they just gave it their best effort, and that's something to really admire from bands, especially up-and-coming ones. And yeah, that's really fucking cool. They performed a lot of the songs from yeah, this album again. I think they performed a few songs from like their previous efforts, like their EP, I believe, from like 2011, and I guess they've also performed a cover of Harvest from Opeth. I managed to film that along with a couple of their other songs, and it sounded really cool. I mean, this is the first time I've ever heard this song covered in like an extreme metal format. So instead of stay with me a while, it's like, stay with me a while. That's really fucking awesome, and I'm glad they had the balls to do that. I thought if I would do something like that, then I'd probably like fucking fail, and well, that didn't sound particularly great, did it? No, but when they did it, it sounded great, and I gotta give them props for that. Anyway, I think this video is getting a little too overlong, so I'm just gonna stop it here and now. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying, so thank you very much for watching my video and all 15 minutes of it, and I'll talk to you later.